Hi, my name is Dick Pastor, and I'm a member of the Rhode Island Saltwater Anglers Association, and I want to show you how to make a dropper loop for black sea bass, which is basically a modified codfish dropper loop. First, to make life easier, I'm going to put a couple of screws in the table to help me tie knots because I'm by myself. So I'm going to start with about a 6-foot piece of 60-pound fluorocarbon. Now you don't have to use fluorocarbon, you can use monofilament, but the fluorocarbon is pretty tough and the fish are tough on the fluorocarbon, which is why I like it. To make things easier, I'm also going to tie a loop at each end so I can tie off to those screws to help me make the dropper loop. To pulling the dropper loop, it makes it a lot easier. So there's one. And here is two. Later on you can use these, or you can attach, we'll attach terminal tackle to these. You can take them out and you can put barrel knots in as you like. So to make a dropper loop, as most of you probably know, we make a big circle with the monofilament. Make about an 8-inch circle, a 12-inch circle, whatever. And we have to wrap the tag end around the circle. I go maybe 10 times. So there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, there's 5, 6, 7, there's 8, there's 9, and there is 10. Now I'm going to hook this back up to the screw. I know everybody's tapping their fingers at this time. And now you want to center the loop by just sliding. You can slide it and you can center the loop approximately. Now when you make a dropper loop, you open up you go down to about the middle of the twists, you open it up and you pull the loop through the center twist, and what it'll do is it'll cinch down. Now this stuff tends to have a mind of its own, so I like to kind of lubricate it a little bit. You can use Windex, you can use Dawn soap, or if you're feeling romantic, you can use KY jelly. So as we pull this, you can see how it slowly slides in, and it does want to resist. So you help it a little bit with your finger. And you can see the dropper loop. Now the nice thing about a dropper loop is, and this one was a little sloppy, but nonetheless, the top of the tag end comes into the dropper, the bottom of the tag end goes out, and the loop is at a 90-degree angle, which really makes it starts to help it hang the way you want. You want the bait to hang off. So now we're going to use a float, which I painted green. This is cut from a larger piece that was originally red, but regardless. We want to protect the float because it's styrofoam and it's kind of soft. So protect it from that knot because the knot will pull right through. So I've got some small beads which I pre-drilled so that I can get this bent piece through it. And I can push the bead, I push it through the bead through it. Now I can put the float on, and the bead is going to protect the float. And then of course we're going to put another bead on the other side. Now you can use, these are day glow. You can use anything you can that's just big enough and it's got a hole that's large enough. As I said, I pre-drilled these already. There's the float. Now there's another, in a dropper loop, there's a center knot. So we're just going to make another knot like this, and we're going to bring it up kind of tight and just pull it snug. There we go. Now we have to get, this is a Fluke hook that we use to catch black sea bass, as also you all know. Now it's difficult to get these two thick pieces through this this little eyelet that you can see. So what I use is, instead, I take a thin piece of monofilament, I put it through the eyelet, hold the hook, put it through the dropper loop, and then put it back through the eyelet. And what this does is obviously allow you to make, it allows you to pull. Sometimes you have to use a pair of pliers because it's kind of tough. It'll allow you to pull there you go. It allows you to pull the 2 pieces of 60-pound through the eyelet. Now, we're going to snell the hook. And in order to snell the hook, you take the hook and you just wrap it through the eyelet. 1, through the loop, 2, 3, 4, 5, you could do 6 or so. Now once again, you've wrapped the hook on one side of the eyelet, so by necessity these guys are not the same length, and you want this to snell up properly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray it again with Windex so that I get some lubrication on it. Grab the end of the hook with a pair of pliers and not just cinch it in. I'm going to help it along by moving this up, but I want to make sure that I'm pulling. See, it'll slide if you just pull it. If you pull it up all the way too hard, it'll never slide, but if you start to do it and help it along, it pulls up nice and evenly, and you can see it. You can see the snell forming, and this is nice and even. So the finished rig, there's the hook, the snelled hook, the leads are pretty much even, there's the protected float, and here are the 2 tag ends. One can go to a sinker with a sinker hook on it, and the other one can go to an eyelet, which I suggest you do. Put an eyelet on the other side so that when this thing spins it doesn't tang your line up. The Spro eyelets are really nice. These will work too. These are the other ones, but the Spros spin really nice. And there is a modified dropper loop for black sea bass. This will also work for fluke. When this thing runs in the water, as it goes down, the sinker's at the bottom, the float holds it up, and you put a full, if you put a full squid on this and hook it right through the thin nose of the squid and let the squid trail off, it runs in the water and the squid's doing this in the water and it looks really natural. Catch them up.